Greetings, welcome back to Black Bear News, where we are discussing climate change, abrupt climate change, and things adjacent. Please remember to like this video and to make sure you are still subscribed. Starting off this video with a tweet. So yesterday, there was a tweet about the low temperature in Boston being like a record low, but here we have this tweet says, second 70-degree day in a row. This is the second time in 2 years there's been two back-to-back 70-degree days in meteorological winter. The first was 2018 in February. Excuse me. So within the last 3 years, we've had record highs in the middle of winter. I mean, this is something that happens in Los Angeles. This is not something that happens in Boston in January. Wild. I've been seeing a lot of posts from friends of mine that live on the East Coast, and they're like, yeah, this weather is amazing. It's great. I know that this is totally wrong, and this means, you know, bad things for the planet, but, you know, for the meantime, enjoy the beautiful weather while you can. Moving on to more, just, you know, the news out of Australia just is kind of overwhelming, at least climate change news. And it just, the hits keep on coming. Australia bushfires spark unprecedented climate disinformation. So we have heard reports of people being charged with arson or being charged with starting some of these fires, but it seems to have been spun into this idea that these fires are all, you know, because humans are running around lighting fires. Australia's bushfire emergency has sparked an online disinformation campaign unprecedented in the country's history, researchers told AFP Friday, with bots deployed to shift blame for the blazes away from climate change. I'm always a little leery about the whole bot thing, so I'm reading this with a, you know, I'm just saying that I'm reading this with a large question mark above my head, but, you know, we'll take this as, you know, take the information on face value. The fires have claimed at least 26 lives, destroyed more than 2,000 homes across Australia, and they have also prompted misleading online claims about the extent of the blazes and concerted campaign to blame the crisis on arson rather than climate change, drought, or record high temperatures. One hashtag in particular, arson emergency, has gained traction rapidly, and conservative-leaning newspapers, websites, and politicians across the globe have promoted the theory arson is largely to blame. Timothy Graham, a digital media expert at the Queensland University of Technology, told AFP his research showed half of the Twitter users deploying the hashtag displayed bot and troll-like behavior. Listen, these all could be real people displaying bot and troll-like, you know, behavior or whatever. But it's hard to tell. You know, the trolls are out always in force, and the bots and the trolls are out doing what they do. These accounts were created very recently, often without profile pictures. Twitter handles were sequences of numbers or characters, sometimes a meaningless combination of both. Their tweets focused on one subject, in this case, arson emergency. Their tweets were often repetitive, and some of the accounts interacted solely with each other. Okay, well, that surely sounds suspicious. I was combining the words suspicious and conspicuous. Our findings show a concerted effort aimed to misinform the public about the cause of the bushfires. Graham said the campaign is nothing on the scale of what we have been seeing in other countries, such as the 2016 U.S. election, but this amount of disinformation in Australia is unprecedented. Of the 300 Twitter accounts And 12,000 plus tweets Graham and his team examined, half of the users were assessed to be genuine individuals, and they tended to hold conservative views. Never underestimate the power of, the misinformed or the stupid to go out and do what they do. And never underestimate, the idea that people, might be gathering information in other places. God bless it. Australia. False claims that 180 people have been charged with arson in relation to the bushfires appear to give the theory credence and have been shared widely on social media, including by Donald Trump Jr., son of the U.S. president, truly discussing that people would do this. God bless Australia. More than 180 alleged arsonists have been arrested since the start of the bushfire season. Trump's son falsely tweeted. That is false. So, yeah, that is a problem. There have been people charged with arson, but conflating, I'm going to keep going on this article. The claim appears to have sprung from New South Wales police announcement of legal action against 183 people for bushfire-related offenses. In fact, only 24 of those people were charged over alleged deliberately lit bushfires. Many more were accused of unsafely discarding cigarettes or breaking bans on the use of equipment like barbecues or angle grinders during periods of high fire risk. So, okay. Authorities in fire-hit Australian states have denied arson is linked to some of the most serious blazes. There is currently no intelligence to indicate that the fires in East Gippsland or Northeast have been caused by arson or any other suspicious behavior. A Victoria police spokesperson told AFP, statistics from previous bushfires show some are suspected of being started by arson, but it is one among several causes like lightning strikes, embers blowing from other fires, or accidents. Scientists believe that this year's bushfire season has been more severe because of a prolonged drought, and climatic conditions in the Indian Ocean and Antarctica have brought hot, dry, windy weather to Australia. Many of these factors have been linked to climate change or made more pronounced because carbon emissions have raised global temperatures. And somebody sent me like a global temperature map with hot spots indicated around the globe, and coincidentally, the hot spots around the globe are exactly where all the the major fires are taking place, which is South America, in the Amazon. Africa actually has, it looks like Africa has more wildfires than any other continent. I don't hear a lot of reporting on that. Australia, Africa, South America, and these are also the hot spots for temperature. These are accounts that appear. Hold on one second. This is a global campaign with the purpose to discredit scientific evidence of climate change. It's much bigger than the bushfires in Australia, said Graham. These are accounts that appear to make a coordinated effort to push the idea that climate change is not real because it is something they want to discredit. The bushfire emergency gave them the opportunity to jump on board and drag Australia onto the world stage of global disinformation. So that's happening, which is, not good, but also in line with the general onslaught of disinformation that we get from conservatives, climate deniers, et cetera, et cetera. This is from the Washington Post from 2 days ago. Megafire, measuring 1.5 million acres, forms in Australia as bushfires merge. Australia's bushfire crisis worsened Thursday night into Friday as hot, dry, and windy conditions redeveloped across the country's hard-hit southeast, causing two large blazes to merge into one. The new Megafire measures about 1.5 million acres, about the size of the state of Delaware, or roughly 8 times as large as New York City. What we're really seeing with a number of these fires merging is a number of small fires started by lightning strikes across the landscape. New South Wales Rural Fire Service spokesman Anthony Clark told the Sydney Morning Herald. And as they grow, we see fires emerging, Clark said. Separately, an emergency warning was issued for a blaze in the southern Highlands region known as the Morton Fire that threatened populated areas. As of midday Friday, firefighters were battling 147 fires in New South Wales, with one at the emergency level, the highest warning category, as a wind shift moved from south to north along the coast. Strong winds were reaching speeds of up to 55 miles per hour, lofting embers out ahead of the fires to start new spot fires and propelling the front edges of fires forward at rates of high speed, breaching containment lines. The emergency warning issued for the Morton fire near Bundanoon advised residents to seek shelter, noting it is too late to leave. Protect yourself from the heat of the fire, the Rural Fire Service said. Emergency warnings were also issued for fires in parts of Victoria. Conditions were so extreme Friday morning that weather forecasts issued a severe thunderstorm warning for a fire-generated thunderstorm in northeastern Victoria, specifically for damaging winds. A megafire formed when part of the East Orkney Creek blaze collided with the Duns Road fire near the Clarks Hill Nature Reserve near the border between the two states. This blaze will be even harder to put out and illustrates the scale of the disaster facing Australia. This is not the first megafire to form during Australia's nightmarish bushfire season. The Gospers Mountain Fire near Sydney is also the result of multiple fires merging into one. And it has repeatedly sent thick, hazardous smoke into highly populated areas. While Australia has had fire seasons that have burned more acreage overall, these fires are unprecedented for their locations. According to Australia's Bureau of Meteorology, the fires in New South Wales are the largest in state history. And the burned area is the most extensive ever documented in eastern Australia. Ecosystems that typically don't see major fires, such as rainforests, have been scorched, and these fires are affecting the most populous reaches of the already hot and dry continent. Scientists have published numerous studies showing that Australia's climate is becoming hotter and drier because of human-caused climate change, and these trends are dramatically amplifying the risk of bushfires and lengthening the fire season. At least 25 people have died in the fires, which have destroyed at least 14.5 million acres, up to 1 billion mammals, birds, and reptiles nationwide. Many of them unique to Australia have been affected or killed by these fires sweeping across Australia, according to a University of Sydney estimate. The fires themselves are exacerbating global warming, too, with fire-induced thunderstorms pumping soot, ash, and chemicals into the upper atmosphere. Satellite-based estimates of greenhouse gas emissions from the fires show they may be contributing the equivalent of a typical year's worth of Australia's emissions from burning fossil fuels. Oh, joy. Not good. This news story in the Things Adjacent section. I saw this on Twitter. Instagram says it's removing posts supporting Soleimani to comply with U.S. sanctions. So this is wild. Apparently Facebook owns Instagram, but Facebook and Instagram are removing posts that voice support for slain Iranian commander Qasem Soleimani to comply with U.S. sanctions. A Facebook spokesperson said in a statement to CNN Business Friday, the Iranian government has called for nationwide legal action against Instagram in protest, even creating a portal on the government website for the app's users to submit examples of posts the company removed, Iranian state media reported. So this is wild. What's happening is that Instagram is censoring posts in Iran. They're saying to comply with sanctions, but they're, so they are controlling information that's available in Iran. Instagram is one of the few Western social media platforms that is not blocked in Iran. Facebook and Twitter are blocked, but some Iranians access those sites using VPNs. In a tweet, Iran's government spokesperson Ali Rabii, called Instagram's actions undemocratic. Instagram shut down Soleimani's own account on the platform last April after the U.S. government designated the Islamic Revolutionary Guard Corps a foreign terrorist organization. Soleimani was an IRGC commander. We operate under U.S. sanctions laws, including those related to the U.S. government's designation of the IRGC and its leadership. A Facebook spokesperson said in a statement, Iranian soccer player Alireza Bahakshish, I'm sorry if I can't pronounce that correctly, who has a verified Instagram account, posted a photo of Soleimani after his death. Jahan Bakshish said Instagram had removed that post. Details of the takedowns were reported earlier by Coda Story. As part of compliance with U.S. law, the Facebook spokesperson said that the company removes accounts run by or on behalf of sanctioned people and organizations. It also removes posts that commend the actions of sanctioned parties and individuals and seek to help further their actions. Oh, the spokesperson said, adding that Facebook has an appeals process if users feel their posts were removed in error. CNN Business has reached out to Twitter and Google for comment to ask how they handle content related to people sanctioned by the U.S. government. Nothing more on that. Yeah, pretty wild stuff. Interesting. All of these companies are totally on board with censoring people in whatever country they operate. Obviously, all the major tech companies do business with China as well, and they, have no problems with censoring people, based on China's rules of censorship. It's all in, doing business, right? If the money's right, it doesn't really matter. Human rights be damned. And that's really the moral of that story. We got 2 editions of Way Past What the Fuck this week. I'm going to read one to finish up this video. This is from Friday, January 3rd, and is titled, How's About This? When I was 23 years old, my mother was killed in an automobile accident. It was sudden and unexpected, as she was only 53 years old. Ever since that event, I have wondered if it is better to have a death come on you suddenly or to have time to properly grieve and say goodbye to someone who dies over a longer period of time. I have yet to decide, but right now we all have an opportunity to grieve and say goodbye to the planet that has supported us for all these years. A few years back, there was a television broadcast of the third-party debates. One of the candidates was asked how he responds when someone says that they feel like they are throwing their vote away if they don't vote for one of the mainstream candidates. He said, the only way you can throw your vote away is if you don't vote from your heart. The following is entirely fanciful and not based on any reality that will come to pass, but wouldn't it be lovely if we had a presidential candidate who, instead of incessantly harping on Green New Deals and Medicare for all and forgiveness of student loan debt, just came right out and said, our time is short, and we as a nation and a world must come together to make these last few years ones of compassion, love, and gratitude. Compassion for all the life on the planet that has and is suffering because of us, love for the entirety of the natural world, and gratitude that we were given the time to express these feelings. I would vote for a candidate who supported this position. I am no longer worried about the forgiveness of my student loan debt. I do not have health insurance, although I will be eligible for Medicare in a year. I have not decided if I will get it or not. There is a Facebook group called the Boiling Frog Party, thanks to Kevin Hester for that, and my candidate of choice would be a card-carrying member. The Boiling Frog candidate would open her campaign by stating, well, guys, this is it. Very possibly the last presidential election is this year, US of A, and you get to choose. Do you want a misogynistic, psychopathic, megalomaniac, or a reasonable person with a kind bedside manner who will be able to guide you through the late-stage collapse? Do you want a business as usual Democrat or Republican who will give lip service to issues you care about, or an honest straight shooter who genuinely cares and feels your grief, depression, and anger at what we were about to lose? There are plenty of people who will tell you what you need to hear, what you want to hear, but as far as I can tell, only one, yours truly, will tell you what you need to hear. What you need to hear is that this party is over. What you need to hear is that you better start taking care of people you love. What you need to hear is that there is no time left to make more money or buy a new car or get a promotion at work. There's just no time left. If I asked you what you would be doing if someone told you that you only had a few years left before you die, and your answer is that you sure as hell wouldn't be doing what you were doing, then I would say you are most likely doing the wrong thing. If you are doing anything other than living a life of compassion and love, then you are doing the wrong thing. We all know what is going to happen, or most of us. At least here know what is going to happen. So why is using our voices to bring to office someone who will reflect the best part that is in all of us such a far-fetched idea? I don't want another fucked up pissing match of an election. I don't want to watch people tiptoe around the one real issue while the world burns down around them. I don't want to look at or listen to one of the greatest assemblies of cowards to ever trod a stage. I don't want to listen to endless wank fests in coffee shops as the merits and drawbacks of those cowards. As the merits and drawbacks of these cowards are discussed, and I sure as hell will haul off and smack the next person who says they are voting for the lesser of two evils. So go ahead, punk. Choose. Some psycho nutter who will shit on your kitchen table, piss on your kids, rape your wife or husband, and then burn your house down, or the candidate who wants to help make these last few years as compassionate and caring as possible. You know, interestingly enough, we are fast approaching a time when, there's that candidate wouldn't necessarily be I mean, we've already had Marianne Williamson, in this race. She has endorsed Bernie Sanders, by the way, officially. But Marianne Williamson kind of, was on the Democratic debate stage at one time, just talking about the, running a government based on love, or, running a society based on compassion and love for one another. And a lot of people really liked her, and a lot of people donated to her campaign, and a lot of people, even though they didn't think that she would, make it to the finish line as the nominee, appreciated her message. We live in a time where actually the more radical ideas get more traction as far as support, voter support. Those ideas are allowed to be bandied about, or at least be considered. You have anti-war people still in the, you have Tulsi Gabbard, who was still in the presidential race. You have Andrew Yang, who was talking about, giving people universal basic income. These were radical ideas. These were radical ideas 4 years ago. And 4 years ago, Bernie's ideas were extremely radical. And now his ideas are the mainstream ideas, and the ideas that everybody is trying to parrot, basically. And he's most likely going to win the nomination because everybody else is a pale example, or is a pretender to the throne, a pretender to the people that support these policy platforms. And so you've had these people on stage that are right now they're considered way out there. But who knows, in 4 years from now, if we even have 4 years, some of these policy platforms might be considered, the standard by which all other presidential candidates will be judged. So, I don't know. Keep on talking about the weird stuff. Keep on spreading the actual reality of our situation. Keep on letting people know the real information, and we could see in a very short amount of time that people don't have any stomach anymore for the lies and the the holding up, the propping up of the facade that is currently our political paradigm, or even our societal paradigm. Everything is changing extremely fast. Right at the end. Go figure. That's all I have for you in this video. Thank you so much for your eyes, your ears, and your conscience. If you'd like to support this channel, what they've been doing on my videos now is just instantly demonetizing them, forcing me to get them to review the video, and sometimes it takes them a couple hours, and sometimes it takes them 2 days. But if they demonetize the video, and it's demonetized for a day or two, that's when I've gotten all the views, so I didn't make any money on that video. So one of the ways this channel keeps going is from the monetization of these videos, but that has been going down because they keep demonetizing my videos. So anyways, all that being said, if you'd like to support this channel, and this channel does need your support, you can do so at the links below. You can also check me out at rockfin.com. Thank you so much for your eyes, your ears, and your conscience. Until next time, peace.